U.S. ambassador to UN calls Islamophobia an epidemic. Online hate towards New Zealand Muslims increasing. Trump claims January 6 violence was Pence's fault. Jewish Americans protest Israeli minister visit in Washington. University of Michigan to host Iqbal Symposium on Islamic thought. Imran Khan MNTV interview cancelled. Police cut off internet. India, world's largest arms importer, despite poverty. From our Chicago studios, this is the Muslim News on Muslim Network TV. Assalamu alaikum, I am Samana Siddiqui. Our top story tonight. The 2019 attack on 2 mosques in New Zealand was an attack on all Muslims. Those were the words of Ambassador Linda Thomas-Greenfield, the U.S. representative to the United Nations. She shared that the U.S. has established an interagency group to counter anti-Muslim hatred and religious discrimination wherever and whenever it is found. Thomas Greenfield was addressing the UN at the occasion of the first International Day to Combat Islamophobia. On March 15, 2019, a white supremacist gunman stormed 2 mosques in Christchurch, New Zealand. He killed 51 worshippers during Friday prayers and injured 40 others. Thomas Greenfield called the attacks the deadly consequences of Islamophobia. She also called Islamophobia the epidemic of anti-Muslim hatred and formally recognized that Muslims are increasingly subject to discrimination and violence. Thomas Greenfield added that the International Day to Combat Islamophobia advances human rights and freedom of religion for all. In related news, the New Zealand Department of Internal Affairs says hate related to the 2019 Christchurch mosque shootings continues to increase in high-traffic areas online. Wednesday marks 4 years since the attacks in which a white supremacist gunman killed 51 Muslims at 2 mosques in Christchurch during Friday prayer. 40 people were also injured in the attacks. The killer, Brenton Tarrant, was radicalized online. New Zealand's government launched a royal commission into the tragedy, recommending legal changes to better protect religious groups from online hatred. But nothing has changed, as New Zealand's Human Rights Act does not protect people experiencing abuse based on their religion. It only covers hate crimes based on skin color, race, ethnicity, or national origin. The government did put forward most of the recommended changes last year, but they were met with criticism by free speech advocates. Chairperson of the Federation of Islamic Associations of New Zealand, Abdul Razak, calls online hate verbal bullets. He said he wonders how long it will take to change the law to protect Muslims. Hundreds of Jewish Americans gathered at the Grand Hyatt Hotel in Washington, D.C. on Sunday. This was to protest the presence of Israeli Finance Minister Bezalel Smotrich. The far-right minister addressed the Israel Bonds National Leadership Summit. This was just 2 weeks after calling for Israel to wipe out the Palestinian town of Hawara. Smotrich was granted a U.S. visa despite calls for him to be barred entry into the country. Jewish Voice for Peace demonstrated inside the hotel, while Jewish groups including J Street, Trua, If Not Now, and the New Israel Fund led a rally outside. People outside chanted and held banners with phrases such as "no blank check for pogroms" and "no democracy under apartheid." Ex-President Donald Trump told reporters on Monday that former Vice President Mike Pence is responsible for the January 6, 2021 attack on Capitol Hill by his supporters. Trump said that had he sent the votes back to the legislatures, they wouldn't have had a problem with January 6th. He was referring to Pence's refusal to reject the Electoral College votes in Congress, as Trump wanted him to do that day. Trump was responding to Pence's assertion that history would hold the former president accountable for the attack. A pro-Trump mob attacked the Capitol on January 6, 2021, following weeks of false claims by Trump that the 2020 presidential election was stolen from him. On Friday, U.S. District Judge Lewis Kaplan ruled that Access Hollywood tapes of former President Donald Trump can be used in the court. In the tapes, Trump makes vulgar comments about women. With Friday's ruling, the tapes can now be used in a civil defamation suit brought against Trump by journalist E. Jean Carroll. This was for a series of derogatory comments he made toward Carroll after she publicly accused him of sexual assault in 2019. The case is currently in the U.S. District Court for the Southern District of New York. The University of Michigan Flint is organizing an Iqbal Symposium on Islamic thought and civilization. The March 16th event will offer campus and community members the opportunity to learn about Islam and build a connection with the local Muslim community. Members of Flint's Muslim community who organize a symposium want to share a deeper understanding of the rich history and living tradition of Islamic thought and civilization, as well as its impact on the world. The event is named for Muhammad Iqbal, widely known as Allama Iqbal, a poet and philosopher from what is now Pakistan. He is considered one of the greatest Muslim poets of the 20th century. We're bringing more news stories after the break, so stay tuned, and we'll be right back. Welcome back. Former Pakistani Prime Minister Imran Khan's home in the city of Lahore has been surrounded by police in armored vehicles. Khan was scheduled to be interviewed by us at Muslim Network Television this morning. However, the interview could not take place due to police activity, which has also cut off his home internet. Protests have broken out in Karachi, Peshawar, and Islamabad after a Pakistani court on Monday issued a non-bailable arrest warrant for Khan. The former Prime Minister narrowly escaped assassination while leading an anti-government march toward Islamabad in November. Khan blames his unceremonious ouster last year on a U.S.-backed conspiracy. Pakistan's incumbent coalition government in Islamabad and Washington have repeatedly refuted the claim. Disciplinary action has been taken following an incident of Islamophobia at Courtice Secondary School in the Canadian city of Clarington. It involved a student damaging a copy of the Quran. The incident was brought to the attention of school administrators on March 3rd. The Kawartha Pine Ridge District School Board said staff are taking immediate steps to address this very serious incident. It also said it will not tolerate acts of hate towards persons or symbols of faith. Clarington, Ontario Mayor Adrian Foster also condemned the incident. A new study from the nonprofit Angus Reid Institute finds unfavorable views of Islam prevalent across Canada at varying levels. The highest were found in the province of Quebec. 2 in 5 Canadians outside of Quebec hold an unfavorable view of Islam. In Quebec, that number reaches over half. The Institute said these views take more concrete forms, however, than just overall negative sentiment. Muslims face the risk of being unwelcome in a number of areas of Canadian society as a result. The survey also found that more than 2 in 5, or 44% of Canadians, believe it is unnecessary to have a special representative to combat Islamophobia. That was a position recently appointed by Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. On Sunday, the Melbourne Fashion Festival apologized in a statement for promoting Australian brand Not a Man's Dream. The brand used Islamic text on 2 of its garments featured during a show. Festival organizers said the festival did not intend to disrespect anyone, and we apologize for any offense caused. The label has deactivated its Instagram account following uproar online. Social media users took to TikTok to express their frustration, including Australian Muslim model Mona Khalifa. There is a fine line between art and disrespect, and this falls way over disrespect, Khalifa said in a video. There is no reason for someone to put the word of Allah or anything Islamic on something like this. It is transparent fabric, she said. The leader of the Scottish National Party in Westminster has backed Humza Yousaf to become Scotland's next First Minister. Stephen Flynn is the latest high-ranking SNP member to give his endorsement to the Muslim politician who is currently Scotland's health minister. The news comes amid claims from Yousaf that he has had to call the police for racial and Islamophobic abuse he has experienced since he put forward his name to lead the Scottish Parliament. SNP members will begin voting on Monday, and the winner of the race will be announced on March 27th. India continues to be the world's largest arms buyer. Russia, France, and the United States are its main suppliers of weapons, according to the Stockholm International Peace Research Institute. Russia, a time-tested ally of India, is the largest supplier. The 2 countries have shared a close defense relationship for several decades, and India has still not formally condemned Russia's invasion of Ukraine. The arms buildup contrasts with a report by the Daily Hindu that India has over 224 million undernourished people. That's all from our Chicago studios tonight. Thank you for tuning in. You can find previous episodes and more on our YouTube or Facebook. For more content, keep watching Muslim Network TV or visit muslimnetwork.tv. Salam and good night.